Nick Tonge from Lancaster University. So, Nick, how long did it take you to get, how long was your flight?
Total travel time, 15 hours.
15 hours. Luckily, I think he's been here for at least 24 hours to have a little bit more rest in him. Yeah. But if you haven't had an opportunity to actually spend time with Nick and say hello, please do over the next couple of days. I met Nick last year at a the higher ed symposium, actually. And one thing led to another, and now you are here. So very glad to have you here. Take it away.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm wondering if you can all just humour me, first of all. I want you to look the happiest you've ever looked. Big smiles, because I am a Brit abroad, after all. So if you can all just give it a bit of whoopee, because I'm going to do a bit of a selfie here. The most unique photograph of the conference, yeah? So come on, you can do it, you can do it. Here we go. Come on, woo! I want to see some hands, come on. So everyone say CFTA. Thank you for humouring me on that. That's just something so that when I go back, I can show my colleagues, friends, family, and show them how happy you all were at the end of the presentation. I can't lose now, right? So when I was first asked to do this, we need to go there, don't we? Title of the keynote, Where Higher Education is in the Implementation of Technology for Facilities Management. Wanted to get a title that just rolled off the tongue, so note to self not to do that one again. But what I wanted to do, I couldn't do this by myself. I wanted to get a survey out. I wanted to understand where the UK is with technology. What themes are we concentrating on right now? What are the technologies that we're concentrating on right now? What are the themes we're looking at for tomorrow, and what are the technologies we're looking at tomorrow? What's going to add value to our campus? What's going to enhance the student experience? What's going to give us a return on the investment? Talked with several colleagues. Special thanks to Frank Rosendahl for all his help with this. We soon realised, why are we just sending a survey out to the UK? Why not send this out throughout Europe and throughout the US and get a global understanding? So we did, and we got a really good response rate, about 100 responses to the survey from the 3 countries there, the UK, the Netherlands and the US. So really good. The next step of this, we want to, we've got the quantity, we want to get the quality behind it as well, and then we're going to issue a paper out to everyone so you can see all the results of the survey. These were the themes and technologies that we focused on in the survey. There's always drivers for change, right? I believe at the moment that FM and higher education has never been more receptive to change, never been more receptive to technology, to innovation, to disruption, and to collaboration. These are the actual themes that we're focusing on right now. A lot of universities focusing on these themes. Certainly in the UK over the last 18, 24 months, we've had a massive drive on health, safety, security, in particular health and safety. We do all sorts of things. We've got to comply with the law in the UK. We're ridiculous at it. And we have to demonstrate that in a really unique way of collaboration. We took really skilled members from 4 universities and put them working together with our IWMS provider to create a solution to show how we comply with the law on asbestos management, for example, on hazard management. Really unique way of collaborating together and how we do it. When you look at the technologies, I think a little while ago we used to have a load of problems. We were looking to solutions to those problems. Now we've got all these solutions, we're trying to find a problem to fit a solution. It's twisted round. What we've got to do is we've got to be smart in the way we look for opportunities. We've got to extend the peak. You take Apple as an example, love them, hate them. But Apple, they don't wait for a decline in sales before they think, ooh, best do something about that. They extend the peak and they enhance the product and deliver a new handset or whatever it is before the problems arise. And we can learn from that, right? We've got to look for the opportunities early and take those opportunities before problems arise. So who's this rather grey-looking guy making selfies and being a bit of an idiot in front of you? I'm Nick Tonge, Systems Manager. I work at Lancaster University. It's up there in the northwest of England. Top 10 in all the major league tables in the UK. Times and Sunday Times University of the Year for 2018. Really proud of that. We're not just here because I work for Lancaster University, of course. I'm chair of a Plan on HE user group in the UK. So nearly 40 universities that come together now to collaborate and make that IDOMS system work for us. We have a similar setup to you, and we have a committee that drives that, and there's 2 other committee members with me here, so you should take the opportunity to talk to them if you're looking at IWMS systems. But we want to also look at translating those themes and technologies into opportunities for our universities. This is our university. This is Lancaster University. Sometimes nice to see it. This is a bit of drone footage that we've got of the university. So this is looking towards the north of the campus. You can see how rural we are. We're stuck in the middle of nowhere. There's the M6 motorway running down the side. The university owns a load of land around on the other side of the motorway to the north, just building a health innovation campus to the north of the university there. And you can see in the distance the city of Lancaster. One of the questions on the survey, our university is participating more and more with the community. And 100% we are doing that. The survey suggests that everybody else is doing that as well. Our VC meets with the county councils, the city councils, the community, and he asks, what does the city and the community want from the university? Like I say, I work for facilities department. What I see as facilities and estates department, what we come together as a team to provide is everybody's first impression of our campuses. When people come up to our campus, the capital development team, how beautifully designed our buildings are, the reactive and planned maintenance teams, how well maintained they are, the soft FM, how clean they are, the security and portering, how safe and secure our campus is. The environment and sustainability, how great the grounds are with great biodiversity. How good the accommodation is. We've got nearly 7,000 bedrooms on campus, student bedrooms. How great the food and drink is. How great the beer is. We've got a collegiate university. There's 9 colleges. Every college has a bar, so we've got 9 bars on our campus. If you didn't want to come to Lancaster before, you do now, right? 9 bars. Cafes, we are a town. We're a small town in itself. When it comes to technology, we've got to be really smart in how we're going to use technology. We've got to think outside the box. We've got to think what's going to add value. Anybody in the room got a bottomless pit of money? Anybody got enough resources to do all this? Nobody puts their hand up because nobody has. It's a real challenge to get those resources. So you've got to get your business case right. You've got to prove that you're going to do a return on investment. And we can help each other in that because people are doing things that are really great. If our catering department came to me and said, I want to put some sensors in the fridge that will tell me when the food's run out, that's rubbish, right? What's that going to give to us? But if they came to us and said, our space manager comes to us and says, we want to put utilisation sensors in our meeting rooms, seminar rooms, lecture theatres. We want to monitor the occupancy. Then we can start to look at that and think, what data does that give us? Can we adjust the cleaning schedules automatically? Because there's nobody been in there yesterday, so we don't need to clean it again today. We can save those resources. Can we adjust the heating, the cooling? We don't need much cooling in the UK, by the way, but well, we have done recently. There's so many things that we can do with that. First little look at some of the survey data. So we asked the question, in my daily work we use the following devices. 1/3 of all the respondents use everything on here in our daily work. 2/3 use 3 out of the 4, computers sort of drifting down, laptop coming up, I think. But we're all coming to work and using all these devices every day. What's the impact of that on our infrastructure? We've got to design buildings and understand the infrastructure. I was at the IoT session yesterday morning, and the gentleman told me that our students are turning up at campus now with 7 devices all needed to connect to the Wi-Fi. He then asked the question, what about tomorrow? How many devices do they need to connect tomorrow? And Monty, you said 25. 25? There's a company in the UK, they manage, a private company, and they manage student accommodation on 16 universities in the UK. They're now not putting a Wi-Fi access point per student flat, they're putting it in every student bedroom. So 1 access point per student bedroom, allowing 25 devices to be connected to that. So you are absolutely right, that's what's happening. 25 devices. They're designing their buildings for tomorrow, not for today. Mobile phone is top of the list there. Nearly all of us responding are using this little thing in our daily work. I take our director, ex-director, he left a couple of months ago for a new role, but he'd turn up at campus in the morning, he'd park in a different place across campus every morning, and he'd start his walk into his office, and he'd take a picture of that there. Painting needs doing, send it to the fabric team. Take a picture of that, it needs cleaning, it's sent to the cleaning team. Another picture of that there, it's some weeds sent to the grounds team. Picture of that there, it's a poster that's an event a week ago, it's sent to the marketing team. And by the time he gets to the office, he's already made campus a better place to be. Our aim as a facilities division is to make campus a more inspiring place to be, an inspiring place to study, teach, work, visit. He said to me, Nick, we need to make sure that everybody can do this. Why am I the only one taking pictures of issues with our estate and getting them fixed? We've got a facilities team, an estates team. We're 600 people, cleaners, security, maintenance, all these different people. 600 people. We can all contribute to making this campus an inspiring place to be, a better place to be. Create me something that makes it so easy to report a fault that everybody can do it. We've all got smartphones. No problem, boss. It will be key to deliver our services on a mobile device to our customers. We asked this question. In the US, 84% of you agreed with that. In the UK, 100% of us agree with that. Mobility has been, for the last 5+ years, a massive issue in the UK. Everything needed to become available on a mobile device. We want to give our students access to everything in a one-stop shop. We have most of our universities in the UK, they all give their students an app. At Lancaster, we give them an app, it's called iLancaster. They can do all sorts on that app, check the timetable, check the finance, check the bus times. They can see where a PC is free before they go to the computer lab. They can see where a laundry machine is free before they go and do the washing. They can do other things. They can book a room. They can log their attendance at a seminar now. That's a new thing that's just come in. So there's so much they can do. They can book a sports activity, book a sports class. They can look for where they can eat and drink. They can get directions to that, sort of. They can log a maintenance fault. We don't stop anybody at Lancaster from being able to report a maintenance fault. Staff, student, if you've got a university credentials, you can report a maintenance fault. What does that mean? Mobile device is key to perform our work activities. So 62% agreed with this in the US, 87% in the UK. When it comes to that reporting a fault, of course we need to deliver this on a work mobile as well. What would be the good of staff and student doing all this on a mobile only for us, for it to go through loads of people to eventually get a piece of paper handed to a technician who goes and does a job and brings the paper back and logs hours and somebody's doing all this? Be rubbish, right? So what we do at Lancaster, we don't have a dedicated help desk. There is no help desk. All we do is the student, the staff, they report the fault, they hit submit, it goes direct to that engineer, that plumber, that electrician, that joiner for that building. And then they collaborate directly with the member of staff, the student. If you look at the screenshot here, this is my mobile phone on the right, a screenshot of what I use on my mobile phone. I've got my viewpoint for projects, my common data environment for BIM. I can collaborate with loads of people through that on my mobile device. I've got my Plan On app. I've got my Legend app, which is our sports centre app. I've got an NASA Abloy app because we can unlock doors with our mobile phone. I've got SharePoint, I've got Skype, I've got Lancaster, I've got Box. I can access my files from anywhere in the world at any time. Maybe one day this will all come together as one app, maybe, not really. Information exchange, though, is going to continue to go via these methods. Are we institutionalized by email? We can't seem to get away from email, can we? We've got love it, hate it, we can't live without it. I've got all those apps that I'm using to collaborate with different people, but I still expect somebody to send one of those systems to send me an email to let me know that somebody's made an amendment to one of those systems. We're institutionalized by it. I take the journey home from work, log off, 20 minutes later, I'm lying on my sofa and I get my phone out and I check my emails. I've only come 20 minutes, what am I doing? How many people in the room, you just get your phone out, you open it up and you check your emails straight away, it's the first thing you do. I tend to get my phone out, unlock it and just stare at it and think, why the hell have I done that? We all do it, right? I'll tell you a little story. I went to a restaurant in Manchester. I got shown to my table, and at the end of the table there's a safety deposit box. I thought, what's this all about? The waitress comes over and said, would you like to save 25% on your meal today? Yep, of course I do. What do you want us to do? Put all your phones in the safety deposit box. I'm going to lock them up and take away the key. If you get to the end of the meal without asking for them back, I'll give you 25% off. Happy days, right? So we all put our phones in there and then we all sat there and thought, what the hell do we talk about now? Some of the feedback, the restaurant was doing this because they were sick of standing here and looking out to the room and there was somebody at every table playing on the phone. So they thought they'd do a little experiment. Some of the feedback is the people wanting the phone back, wanting it unlocked and getting it back, they were hearing the phone ring, babysitters panicking about the baby so they get the phone back. For the ones that got to the end of the meal and then got the phones back, they got the 25% off. Can anyone have a guess what the number one thing that people missed about their phones during the meal would be? I'll tell you, they missed being able to take a photo of the food and share it on Facebook. What has the world come to, I tell you? But that's how our students communicate, right? Social media. I was surprised really in the other, we didn't get Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, because we are actually communicating with our students using all those social media channels. Students communicate in all those ways. They communicate by PlayStation. A friend of mine, his lad's always up in his room on his PlayStation. He goes to him and says, get outside, go and see your friends. Why do you never with your friends? He said, I am with my friends, Dad. They're all here. He's got his headset on and he's talking. They're all collaborating on how to shoot the bad guy. They're all doing that. That's how they're communicating. But we can learn from those things, right? We can learn from what's happening in our private lives and bring them into our work environments. They're doing that in a PlayStation. We're doing it over Skype and things like that, where I created a presentation with a colleague working out of the Netherlands and in the US. We created a presentation all using Skype. We're all doing it. You might have seen a picture on this slide just before. That's me at a weekend. So that's my car, my caravan, my boats. I've got an app for my car. It tells me where the car's been. It tells me that she was out driving it yesterday, so I sent her a message, put my car back. I can start the car and cool it down before I get there. I can go to my caravan, I can turn the heating on, turn the lighting on, and do other caravan-y type things that I really don't understand. And I've got an app for my boats. And the app for my boats, if I can get to that one, lets me do this. This is me of a weekend. I go in my boat, selfies, I like selfies, right? And then we're travelling up the river in our boats. There's the steam train, it's beautiful. We're going up the river. More selfies, I like a selfie. Carry on up the river. Here we go. Oh, sorry, is it not there? How do I get it on there then? Oh, here we go. 2 screens. Let's start it again. Apologies for that. It was working in front of me anyway. I was enjoying it. So here we go again. We'll start again. There's the selfie. Hey. So here we are. There's the steam train. We've been there before, haven't we? We're carrying on up the river. More selfies. This is my beautiful dearest. Off we carry on up the river. We're now heading out onto Lake Windermere in the Lake District. Some more photographs. By the way, when we got to this point, she's like, Nick, it's too deep. There's too many boats. So we had to turn round and go back. More pictures. We carry on. We go back down the river. That's where it's safest. More selfies. It was a nice day. Off we come back. We get out. Powered by Esri, it tells me how far we've been, how long it took us, what the elevation was, what our average speed was. Slow on that day, by the way. Now I have to get this back, don't I? This was a lot easier when it was on your own laptop. But what can we learn from that? An app that I use in my private life. It's just wayfinding, isn't it? We could create some little virtual videos. How do you get from this building to this building? And blah, blah, blah. There it goes. There's our little wayfinding. Look at the pictures. They're all geotagged in a location. Look at my director taking pictures all over campus. We can use those geotagged locations and get our technicians to the actual area quicker and smarter. We can learn so much from our private lives. Look at something like Uber. What does Uber do? You go on it, it says, I'm here, I want to go here. Taxi arrives, takes you there, it's paid, everything's done. This is something that's happening right now. I haven't got time to show you this video, but I encourage you to Google it. These are little robots. This is Starship robots. If you look on YouTube for Starship Campus Delivery Service, and just have a watch of this. Basically, there's a student there, and he goes on his mobile phone, and he books some catering. The catering order goes through to the kitchen where the chef picks it up, creates that order, and in the meantime, this little robot, this fella here, is trundling along to the kitchen, and the chef then puts the food in the robot, and the robot trundles along again and delivers it to the student, who gets his phone out again, presses a button, the boot pops open, and he gets his food out. This is in Chewett Mountain View in California. Starship robots are Estonian, something like that. They're coming to our university to talk to us. They've already been to the University of York in the UK. Really exciting times, it's happening. Technology is based on the organisational interests. So we've got the left global, middle US, right UK. Different top results for each. In the UK, BIM, probably because we're mandated to do BIM. The government says we must do it. If we look at GIS as an example, 4th globally, top for you guys, you love GIS. 6th for us. I went to the Esri session yesterday, and I used to work with ArcGIS 12 years ago. Oh my God, what a change in 12 years. It is crazy what that product can do, right? I can't get over it. When I saw the maps that you guys gave us last week, I was like, wow, we've got nothing like that. At our conference in the UK, I asked the question, anybody in the room using GIS? Absolutely nobody. We can learn so much from you doing GIS. You can learn from us in different things. I do a mess. There's so much to learn. We're looking at using GIS for certain things. We want to log drainage on campus. We want to log data fiber locations, energy hotspots. We want to be able to see where the data load capacities are on our campus. Know that when we're going to build that building, it's going to have the data load capacities. At the moment, we're doing GIS, are we? Is this GIS? This is plan on data, a Mapbox map, and Tableau. So we're taking all our data, we've got all this masses of data, and we're starting to put it onto a map. It's sort of GIS, and it is to us. But if we look at that, what information that gives us immediately, you see a big red dot, it might be a bit small for you, big red dot up at the north of our campus there, that's a Condition D building. We've got a lot of work to do on that building. There's orange dots, they're Condition C buildings. We need to get our maintenance investment plan for the next 5-10 years on those buildings. We've got blue dots, I've no condition assessment for those buildings, so I don't know what maintenance investment I need. You can immediately see this. You should attend IWMS and BI this afternoon, by the way, shameless plug from me there. This is the University of Birmingham, exactly the same data, but they're doing it so much nicer. It's still in Tableau, Mapbox map, but they're outlining buildings instead of the big horrible dots on buildings. So I can probably learn from them and pinch what they've done there. I just wanted to introduce you to this. So in the UK, we do a return to our funding council. It's called the EMR return, Estate Management Record. Everything you can possibly think about your estate, we have to return to the funding council. Finances, what energy, how much we pay for gas, electricity, how much gas, electricity we consume, how many buildings we've got, what types of space we've got, what's the functional suitability, what's the condition. Everything you can imagine of, and then we can benchmark against every other university in the UK. May not be a great example list, but that's looking at condition against our 40 universities in our user group, and looking at the condition of buildings in A and B. But you get the idea, we compare ourselves against similar institutions, research, teaching splits, the same number of students, same sort of square meterage. Really valuable information to be able to compare against each other. Number one in the UK on this one, information screens. As we're digitising more and more data, it's essential that we're able to share that information. As we get more and more digitised, we can share that information in the right place to the right people at the right time. And information screens are a massive plus on that. We've got them all over our campus as you walk into buildings. We've gone one step further. We've now got the big screen. This is the big screen in our main square at campus. So on the big screen, it shows live events. It's got news feeds all day. They were all watching the World Cup on there. The cleaners had a big day the day after, I can tell you. On the right-hand side, the power of something that's still printed, that's actually a lift shaft where it says, "I am Lancaster." And that's celebrating Lancaster University's success against the University of York in a sporting challenge that happens every year. The power of something printed. Drones. So this is student accommodation in our city centre. We have a little bit of student accommodation in the city centre. We sent drones up to do a condition assessment of the glass roofing light there. What happened if we'd have had to put all the scaffold up and send somebody up there? But now we're enhancing that. We're looking at doing condition assessments. We're going to buy an infrared camera. That infrared camera is going to be on the drone. It's going to show us where water ingress is. We're going to put a thermal camera on there. That thermal camera is going to show us where all the heat loss is, so we can start to understand the energy consumption of that building. Drones have got a massive part to play. The last thing I need to do with that is then automatically take that information from the drones, take the pictures, and create jobs in Planon. Sensors are moving up the list all the time. Yeah, we had sessions on IoT yesterday. Really, really good sessions. In the UK, we talked about IoT at our conference, and people were still saying, well, it's too expensive. Sensors are too expensive still, but really, are they? Or is it because you need to get the right business case? You need to understand the return on investment. A little story about a university in the UK. They deemed that they had 2 business critical spaces they must have. Couldn't live without these spaces, so they spent £200,000 to do it. As part of the project, they put Occupy sensors into the rooms, and 6 months after they've been done, they got some data back from the Occupy sensors. Occupy is basically utilization and occupancy sensors, in case you didn't know. They got the data back, and it showed utilization, an average of 14% on those 2 spaces. One of the spaces, which was a studio, it showed a utilization of 8%. So they grabbed the timetable information and put that together with that information, and it showed that there were 4 other spaces that would have been available at the same time as those. Basically, it was £200,000. If they'd have put the Occupy in first, they'd have seen that the utilisation was there. They could have already had those spaces. At Lancaster, it just depends what you're trying to do with this, isn't it? But if you don't want to know you're not interested in the number of people in the space, our energy manager is not interested how many people, he just wants to know occupancy. So we use Wi-Fi as a proxy to get occupancy. So we're using the Wi-Fi stats, we're seeing that somebody's in there, and then he's looking at energy consumption, water consumption. Is it normal, abnormal? You can identify energy waste. So we're using things like that, which are already there. It's all information with there. Lab stats, yeah, you use lab stats. This is the University of Northampton in the UK. So the building in the middle at the back there, that's going to have a full agile workplace management system. So it's full of sensors. We're really excited about this in the UK because it's going to be a first full building with lots of technology, full room booking system, use your phone, scan things, book workplaces. We're really excited about that, and we want to get the whole community engaged with that. We asked a question in the survey, which was what you're doing with the available data. I've changed that to data into knowledge, into action, into customer value, because you've got all this data, and data is just data, right? It's just sat there. But you've got to do something with that data. You've got to turn it into knowledge, turn it into information. And once you've got knowledge and information, you can create an action from it. And once you've actioned it, you get customer value or enhance the student experience, you do whatever. We're doing all these things, performance reporting, it's helped us to improve our processes. As soon as we started plotting stuff on our maps, we plotted all our reactive maintenance on our maps. And there's all these big red blobs coming on all our buildings, and we're looking at a month's worth of maintenance faults on our buildings. Massive red blot on our library. You click on that and it just tells us straight away about all these blocked toilets we've got. We've got a major issue with our plumbing that it just highlighted in seconds. We do all these other things. We create dashboards because management love a good picture, don't they? We've got state condition monitoring. We've seen all that. But we're also storing data. We've got so much data. Our energy manager, he's collecting data on lighting, water, gas, electricity, Wi-Fi, room data, all sorts of stuff. Loads of information he's collecting. He's using less than 1% of it. Why is he using less than 1%? Because he doesn't have the resource. He doesn't have a data analyst, a data scientist. So he goes to HR. We have to work with our HR departments. We want resource to get this new post. You can't have it with no resource. Okay, we'll retrain our own staff to get the resource in-house. You can't because everyone's stacked out. So what does he do? He packages bits of work and he gives them to students doing master's degrees and PhDs. And the students do his work for him. He gets the data back at the end. He helps them pass the masters. Really good way of being able to use the student population to look at data because we don't have the resources to do it all. We're starting to see some of the return on that now by getting that data back from students, and we're about to start turning it into some action. Could have done without that sound. But is there a way of turning sound off? This is our wind turbine at Lancaster. We use this hypothesis, sustainability is always the second priority. See how rural we are, we're nice, aren't we? We're looking at sustainability, and we talked about it at our user conference. We looked at it and we said, is sustainability always the second priority? We agreed that it is in the UK because maintenance is always the first priority, right? With budgets, all that sort of stuff, we've got to maintain the estate. But look at all the stuff we're doing. In the back of our minds, we've always got sustainability in our minds. The way we're designing our buildings to BREEAM standards, etc., it's always in the back of our minds. We're looking at perhaps putting wind turbine 2 at Lancaster, but I'm told that with no onshore turbines have been granted planning permission for 3 years in the UK. So it needs a change of government. Please, Theresa, go. Don't do so well with leaders, do we? So it's great to see all this stuff. We've got other things that we're doing. We've planted a forest of the future at Lancaster. So far we've planted 1,000 trees, and that's going to, I don't pretend to know all about this stuff, by the way, that's going to offset the university's travel plan in carbon, whatever it means. It's quite a nice piece of music, I suppose. Contact with colleagues. So we asked, how much contact do you have with your colleagues at with your peers in different institutions? Majority of people, 1 to 5 contact moments a year. Down at the bottom there, we've got 7 people that are continuously in contact with their colleagues. They're the smart people, right? They're the ones that are learning, they're the ones that are innovating, they're the ones that are inspiring each other onto greater things. We've got 11 people that have no contact. They're not quite so smart, right? None of you in the room, because you're all here doing it. And you're all collaborating with each other already. Out of the 7 at the bottom there, the next question in the survey was, would you like more contact with your peers? And out of the 7 that are continuously in contact with their peers, 5 of them want more contact. So what do I take that to be? The move towards global FM, perhaps. Maybe we're looking at that and we're saying, well, we collaborate brilliantly as a user group in the United Kingdom, in the US, but now we've got to extend, we've got to go out there to see how the US is using GIS. What do they use GIS for? What can we learn from that? You can come to the United Kingdom and see how we're working with an RDMS system. You can learn from that. Maybe it's because actually these people want to go outside higher education. They want to look at another service, healthcare, for example. In November in Birmingham, there is a conference which is bringing healthcare estates professionals and higher education estates professionals together in an innovation conference. So we can learn from all these different services. Higher education is quite low. There's a lot of other services above us in terms of how they're using technology. We've got a passion to learn from all these people, right? We're passionate about sharing experiences. So much to do. Universities are not in, they are in competition with each other to attract students. More so in the UK. We've actually got less 18-year-olds for the next 2 years. And on top of that, there's not as many coming to university. So we're in competition to attract the students, but facilities and estates departments, we're not in competition with each other. We're there to help each other. We're there to collaborate with each other, to inspire each other to greater things, to enhance our student experience. We can learn so much from everyone else. People in the room are doing something absolutely brilliantly, and we've just got to buy into that. Talk about writing a business case to do it. Well, there's somebody doing it already, and it's brilliant, and they're already demonstrating the return on investment. Copy, paste. What's wrong with copying? You're not like that at school anymore, are we? We're all there to help each other. Copy, paste, it's a remarkable thing. I'm here because I want to get involved in groups like this. I want to share experiences. I'm passionate about learning and doing different things, learning new techniques, technologies. And we need to really push the boundaries when it comes to delivering a better experience on our facilities and our estates. We need to dare to be different, perhaps. Conclusion, and I apologise, my brain doesn't work that much to remember too much, so I'm just going to read this part to you. It's fair to say that development is moving really, really fast. All these trends, developments, they're going to be commonplace in the next year. Do this survey in 5 years, it's going to be completely different. There'll be so much more on this survey. But at the moment, surely we're heading to a new building built with BIM and GIS combined, where the BMS is driving safety, security and performance within buildings, with healthy workplaces to live, work and study. We'll see it virtually throughout the design process, enable us to make dynamic decisions on the design. It will become a fully interactive smart building, full of technology and sensors, allowing us to manage the maintenance proactively rather than reactively, giving us brilliant data we can turn into information, all stored in the cloud and which is constantly learning about the building performance and creating a more and more sustainable building for the future. This is a building collecting weather data, enabling the heat to be adjusted accordingly, a self-ventilating building, a cognitive building, a building which we can use our mobiles to interact with it, or speech to report issues, change the temperature, book workplaces, find our way and our friends, a building which monitors utilisation, informs us when rooms are free, a building which we can talk to report the issue, turn on the lights or book some catering, and where that catering is delivered to us in a robot and our packaging is part of a sustainable plastic-free circular economy, a building which we can see through the walls to see where the services are, and we can use that view to ascertain the parts required, and where those parts are delivered, part of a blockchain to order those parts, and they're delivered to us in a self-driving vehicle, or where the parts are printed for us perhaps, and where our external conditioning is carried out by using drones which take photos of our issues and send them as jobs to the IWMS. It's not just the physical campus we now have to maintain as estates professionals, it's also the digital campus. Final takeaway for you guys, what is in my power to make my campus a better place to study, teach, work and live? Have a think about that. Thank you very much for listening.